Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
It's you and the senorita. Woofer blowing up the tweeter, cause it's me up in the speaker. Knocking the mama seat top down like a player. And the sound up in your ears, it is the dopest rhyme. Say I running game like a cheater. I'm balling like they're a cheater. Complete on the marathon.
So the death count is at 31 people from the ISIS attacks in Brussels, in Belgium, yesterday. At least 31 people reported killed, dozens more wounded, after explosions tore through the airport there and the metro station in Brussels. Now, we talked about this a little bit on the show yesterday, but my background is kind of sort of all over the place. And when I try and get into it completely, people go, wait, so what? It's just too much going on. And I can't expect other people to want to be interested or pay attention to every little detail. So I stick with the basics, the main bullet points, which is grew up in London, family from New York, moved to London from New York. Those are sort of the two cities I suppose I would call home. Spent time in Texas and now in California and sort of all over the place. And I don't bother confusing it with a piece of information most of the time that I was born in Brussels. I sprouted in Brussels, as some friends of mine said. And as we discussed a little bit on the show yesterday, a lot of people, when I say I was born in Brussels, will say, "What? So is that like part of France, or what is that?" Is that some people don't even recognize the fact that Belgium's a country, which shows some woeful inadequacies in our education system. But Brussels is kind of like. It's a confusing thing. Is it French? Is it Flemish? What is it? They speak two different languages there. It's not a clear, easily definable place. And also, it's not really a place that has a tremendous amount of... It's not really a place that has a tremendous amount of significance on the world stage. World leaders gather there on a regular basis. But, well, look at America. Look at how the rest of the world is so consumed with what's going to happen as a result of the American presidential election. It's because everything that America does touches the rest of the world. America sneezes, the rest of the world catches a cold. Belgium is not one of those countries. And I didn't live there for long, just like a couple of years. I was born there. I think I stayed there till I was 2.5. But growing up in England, we used to go back on a regular basis. We used to go back and see places like the Place Flagey. My earliest memory was running through the Place Flagey, chasing pigeons. There was this sort of like electricity box. I don't know, some sort of like metal box in the middle of the Place Flagey. And my mom would take me there, and I would run through the crowd of pigeons there and bang on the box, and they would all fly away. And I thought that was a freaking hoot. And what does Brussels, what does Belgium have to offer the rest of the world? Well, I mean, it's going to sound silly, but fries, frites, pommes frites. You can buy them. You can buy, they're not French fries, they're Belgian fries. However the hell you want to refer to them, they are delicious, and you can buy them on street carts in Belgium, along with snails. Fries and snails? Yes, please. Trust me on this one. You want to give it a go. Chocolate, Belgian chocolate, renowned world over. But I would notice when we would go back and visit places like the Place Flagey and the Grand Place, and places like, well, I remember, so funny, what would happen is, like, I'd go to the Place Flagey, I'd chase the pigeons, I'd bang on that thing, and then my mom would take me to the Hard Rock Cafe, which was not far from there, and I would play pinball. They would let me stand on a chair and play one of the pinball machines there. Those are my earliest memories, and they're happy ones of being in Brussels. And whenever I would go back there, I would just notice these folks in Belgium, look, there's a lot that goes on, and I'm sure it's naive of me to assume that everything's happy-go-lucky all the time, but I just remember them being a happy people that were really concerned with living their lives. Everybody in Brussels, everyone in Belgium, a little bit overweight, because the food there is delicious and everything is swimming in butter, and it's awesome. And the fact that that place was attacked yesterday in such a horrific way, well, it just shows that the national motto of Belgium has never been more appropriate. L'union fait la force. Unity makes strength.
Let's start the show. Hot 2, hot 3, hot AZ from your radio live and uncut. Tonight, you're cutting loose and having fun.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
I do what I want, when I want, how I want. Every day you're going and working, running that rat race at that pace in that place will leave a bad taste for anyone, everyone working day after day. So buddy, I gotta say, there's gotta be a better way, yeah. And you do what they told ya, company man, feel it, a mindless little soldier. How can you live like that and maintain your composure before it's begun? Your life's already freaking over, yeah. I do what I want, when I want.
So, the way I wound up in radio was the thing that made me think I could even be on the radio was I was a DJ. I would DJ pretty much anywhere you could pay me to spin records. When my band was winding down, and even while my band was going, I started spinning live. I would play literally, like I said, any place. The classiest, swankiest clubs and lounges in Manhattan, all the way to the cheesiest wedding and or bar/bat mitzvah one could get paid to play Biggie Smalls' Hypnotize at in Long Island. Literally anywhere I could set up and play music and they would pay me for it, I would do. And a couple of those places were like restaurants or lounges that served food. And at the end of every single day, or during the days rather, sometimes they would have me get on the mic and be like, hey, can you announce that it's Thirsty Thursday? I'd be like, oh, God, this is so beneath me. Fine, yeah, today's Thirsty Thursday. It's ladies' night. It's Margarita Monday. It's whatever the hell. Anyways. So I started getting on the mic, and a couple of people came up to me and said, you've got kind of a cool voice. You should be on the radio. I'm like, yeah, like that'll ever happen. And then through a weird, wacky, mysterious set of circumstances, it actually did wind up happening, and I needed a job badly. And, well, I got one crappy shift a week at a station called The Buzz in Houston, Texas. I was in New York City. I decided to move to The Buzz. I decided to move to Houston because I was like, the cost of living is less there. There's palm trees, but it's still a really big media town. And I'm like a burnout that used to be in a band. And there's a million of me on every corner in New York City. And I'm making good money DJing. Well, not good money, but enough money to live off of. I'm making enough money to live off of DJing in New York City, but long term, is that really a career? Now, had I stuck with it and gotten to the point where people could go vika and command like $70,000 a night in Las Vegas, I might have applied myself a little bit more. But, I didn't really think of being a DJ as like a career option. I thought it was kind of a cool, fun thing to do. As Henry Rollins once said, you're a record player. You're a thief of music. And that's kind of what I thought of people that were DJs. And, DJs were big, but they weren't big like they are now. It wasn't what it was. And this was going back, 10 years ago, not that long. So I decided I needed to have a career, and Houston was a real media-driven town, and the cost of living was low there, and they had palm trees, so off I headed. And somehow wound up getting one crappy overnight shift a week at a radio station there called The Buzz, and one crappy overnight shift a week at a radio station on Sirius XM called Octane, and kind of just weaseled my way up from there and wound up having a radio career, weirdly enough. Career being used in the loosest sense of the word with sarcastic air quotes around it. But a big part of the reason why I wound up in radio was because at these restaurants or lounges or wherever it was that served food. They would be like, hey, can you announce, like the burrito bowl special for the next 10 minutes or something? And I'd be like, oh, so beneath me. But people suggested, you should be on the radio. You've got a good voice for that. And really, that's the only reason I wound up on the radio. People suggested it to me. I was like, maybe it could be. And it turns out, well, I could, which was cool. Quite a fortuitous bit of provenance. But the other thing that happened while I was at these restaurants, these places that would serve food while I spun music, was I would notice at the end of the night, so much food was just trashed. So much food was just junked. So much food was put in a garbage can with a homeless guy maybe 10, 15 feet away. And I was like, this doesn't seem right. And there were reasons for not donating this food. There were numerous reasons for not donating this food. There were numerous reasons for not walking up to a homeless guy and giving them a burrito, which I would do literally all the time. They're like, you want any food to go? I was like, yeah, sure. Give me 2 of these and 1 of those and another 1 of these. And they'd be like, cool, well, we're just throwing out. Have it. Take it. And on my way to the subway, I would hand it to the homeless guy that was sitting 15 feet away as they were throwing out food. I was like, was that so hard? No, it wasn't. And I don't know, maybe it was some sort of liability issue with a company that could get sued, a random stranger, a passerby that hands a homeless guy some food, not necessarily up to the same type of litigation as a company would be. I don't know. I don't know what the reasons were. All I know is they were varied and they all sounded like excuses to me and they all sounded like the wrong thing to do. When the Pope first got into papal office, when we got the new Pope, who is now just the Pope, I think one of the first things he said was, don't waste food. It's a sin to waste food. I was like, I've always felt that way. As I was watching food get junked, thrown out, as I was watching life force and sustenance be thrown away while people went hungry, I always felt that way. And I'm glad you said that, Pope. But the Pope's not a corporation. The Pope maybe influences corporations sometimes if the heads of those corporations are Catholic, or if he can apply enough papal pressure. Religious leaders can sometimes affect commerce. But generally speaking, they're 2 different things. Which is why I'm very glad that one restaurant, a huge one, is about ready to be a bit of a game changer and start donating their leftover food. They're disruptors, and hopefully it'll disrupt the rest of the catering, food, restaurant world in a very good way. We'll get into it next. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radio Land. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. That's the way you do what we do. You do what we do. You do what we do. Well, it's a new one. Here I come again, coming again, taking it back to the place where I'm picking up the pen. And before I started, it's already a killer. When you know that you're good, I gotta say that it's a thriller. Hey,
alrighty then. Which restaurant chain? I don't know if you call them a restaurant chain, maybe a chain of snacks and coffee, has decided to donate their leftovers in a way that I think is really cool and could possibly disrupt the entire world of the food industry and maybe go a good portion of the way to helping to solve the problem of hunger in this world. We'll get into it after we get into the events of today in our segment, My Witness News. Funkhauser, how are you? And what is going on in the world?
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser.
Oh, good morning. Oh, yes.
Good morning.
Good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever.
Yeah. How many different times are we on
all
in one
of the
day?
Times.
Like 4 different times, and then like some stations run us on repeat. So if you're ever listening, wherever you happen to be listening, and you're like, hey, this seems like the wrong time of day, that's because it is. Just bear with us until the rest of the world thinks we're such a big freaking deal. They decide to run us live at all times. What's going on, Funkhauser? How are you?
Oh, man, things are good. I went to karaoke last night, met some new friends, posted
who'd
pictures
you
on
go
my
with?
Insta. It was
Who'd you go with?
a friend of mine, Sapphire's birthday. She turned 27, so the whole crew came out. Because Tuesday nights is porn star karaoke night at Sardo's in Burbank.
I was just about to say, with a name like Sapphire, this sounds like a name that a parent gives to a child when they're like, you know what, math is hard. Be a stripper. Is Sapphire her given name, or am I correct in assuming by hearing her name that she is part of the adult entertainment industry?
Can I say both? Can I say her name is not... Well, yeah, her name is that, but probably not government, but it should be.
Right. And is she an adult entertainer?
No. She entertains adult entertainers, but...
Huh? What?
Well, I mean,
She
I can't get
entertains
into it very much on this forum, but she's a friend of a friend of a friend.
She's a friend of a friend of a friend.
And it was her
But
birthday
she's-
yesterday.
Hold on. She entertains adult entertainers?
Yeah. She's a producer!
Oh, well, see, there you go. It's all you had to say.
Well, she's a producer. It's her birthday. Happy birthday.
Very cool. Happy birthday, Sapphire.
I didn't sing last night, but I should have.
You should have. Porn star karaoke. Cool. Porn star yoki.
But a couple of truck drivers sure did sing some songs. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. I hadn't heard country music in quite some time. And a guy with a belt buckle come up there in a cowboy hat. Sing us some, yeah, beer, yeah, girls, yeah, trucks.
Oh, it sounds like a Kid Rock concert. It's cool. Yeah. A lot of people like all of these things.
We left like 45 minutes into it. The Canadians were like, oh, sorry. Can we go?
They don't have any bare naked ladies or Rush.
No
in
Bryan
the karaoke
Adams in the
selection.
list here.
No Bryan Adams. No Bryan Adams means Canadians, no singy. We're leaving. Really? Did the Canadians call it? Were you there having a good time? And they're like, sorry, we're leaving.
Yeah. That's it. Time to go. Sorry. Okay.
Time to go.
But I agreed. It was time. Tuesday, man.
time.
We went up.
Yeah,
we
Tuesday.
Turned it up on a Tuesday, they say.
Turn it up on a school night. Well, I mean, yeah. But, like, here's the thing. Again, this supports my theory that things that would be a story that one would tell at a bar for the rest of their lives happen to Funkhauser, and it's just par for the course. I mean, like, if I walked into a bar or a gathering with some friends of mine, I went, oh, man. Oh, man. You will not believe what happened last night. It was a Tuesday. Who knew this sort of thing happens on a Tuesday at all, ever? It's a Tuesday. Walk into this karaoke bar, and people are doing karaoke, and 95% of the room are porn stars. It was porn star karaoke night. What happened? And if you're Funkhauser, you go, well, I stayed for 45 minutes and went home. Like, yeah. Again, things that would be a story that one would clutch to one's heart and tell for the rest of their lives are just, another slightly dull day in the life of super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhauser. Porn star karaoke, leaving early.
Yeah. I need to open
Impressed.
up a thesaurus.
Yes. A thesaurus?
Yeah.
Wait, who does? You?
I do.
Me?
I
Why?
do. Yeah, because then I can say more things, use more words.
Use
Still
more
learning
words?
the English language, and I'm about 20% there. So.
Are you saying that you should peruse your thesaurus?
What? Let me Google that.
That's right. Close to perfect score on the SATs. What did it get me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Go on.
Well, 50 Cent is in the news, and he's
50
gonna...
Cent!
50. He's going to host a variety show for A&E. What?
Huh? Okay.
Sure.
Well, I think we can plan on that one lasting about as long as a donut in Chris Christie's kitchen. Go on.
Or it might be awesome and last 50 years.
Yeah, no, it won't. And it will. It won't be, and it will not. I mean, I love 50 Cent. I really do. Like, I think there was a time where I thought,
money grab right now. Yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I do. Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's a 50 Cent money grab. There was a time where it looked like 50 Cent was about ready to take over the world in kind of a mogul-esque way. Like, he made tons of money being a rapper. And then he had those Street King energy shots?
Yeah, his financial market crashed, didn't it?
It was Street King energy shots, and he was He was talking about, he went on like CNN Financial News, and he was making money hand over fist with this stuff. And he was making money hand over fist with these Street King energy shots, and each shot sold like 50 cents. I think that was the hook. 50 cents was donated to feed somebody, and 50 cents can feed a lot of people in other parts of the world where, like, hey, look, ultimately, all you need in terms of nutrition is like a scoop of peanut butter will keep a human being going a lot longer than you think. There's carbs, there's protein, and, you can feed people for 50 cents. So I think it was 50 cents from the Street King energy shot would go to, and they're like, so this isn't a charitable thing. He's like, no, this is different. This is conscious capitalism. We have to change and disrupt the model. And, we're making money over at this hand over fist, but it is a big part of the fact that we're making money comes from the fact that it is a charitable donation every single time somebody buys one of these things. If you're looking at a couple different energy shots in 7-Eleven, you go, well, this one feeds a starving kid, and they all have the same crap in them. I'll take that one. And he was doing great, making money hand over fist, and he was showing up on these business programs in suits and ties and being very well-spoken, very erudite, and very smart. And then it all came crumbling down when a series of text messages or emails or something between him, one of his baby mamas, and his kid were released, and he was just saying and doing horrible things to his blood relative, specifically his kid, and his entire empire came crumbling down because he had this perfect, shiny reputation. He went from being sort of like this thuggy gangster rap guy that got shot 9 times. That was, as Chris Rock said, who produced the album? He got shot 9 times. Are there any guest spots on the album? He got shot 9 times. Like, that was all anybody knew about this guy. He was such a hard ass because he got shot 9 times. And he changed his image up from that to sort of like the consummate mogul businessman type, and it all came crashing down when people read his text between him and his kid. And he declared bankruptcy and all this sort of stuff. And there was a moment where it looked like he was genuinely going to be an entrepreneur that was a bit of a financial game changer. And now, as that didn't work out, he is hosting a variety show for A&E. No, it will not last. Yes, it is a money grab. What else?
Oh, yeah. Dolly Parton and Katy Perry. Ooh, doodly doot. They're going to...
Wait. Okay.
They're going to duet on the...
They're going to do it?
They're going to duet on
Hold on. Okay.
On the 51st Annual ACM Awards next month on CBS. Dolly and Katy.
Yeah. I actually saw this. I saw that Dolly's Partons and Katy Perry's were going to be working together. They're going to be performing a song. The song title, you ask? My Eyes Are Up Here. Followed up by their next hit, How Do We Keep From Toppling Over?
Wait a minute, they sing songs? I didn't even realize that.
Makes it very unlikely that the show's ratings will be flat.
Okay,
I
fine,
love...
You get that.
Have you ever seen Dolly Parton play live?
Yeah.
I mean, she's getting up there age-wise. I really don't know how old she is. We talked about it when she celebrated a birthday a little while ago, and we discussed whether or not we would, and I still definitely would. But Dolly Parton just has the voice of an angel. And anybody that wants to reduce her, and I don't think anybody really does anymore, anybody that wants to reduce her to someone who's made a career out of her looks, let's be real here. The looks certainly didn't hurt, but unbelievably talented musician. And you go see her sing live, and it's as good as her records sound. There's nothing like seeing Dolly Parton sing live. Voice of an angel. Some people can sing. Some people have voices that they've trained up. They've learned to sing or whatever. She has one of those voices that was given to her by a higher power. It is incredible. And what an accomplished musician. I mean, she's written hit songs more than she can shake hold on.
Uh-oh.
Thinking of Dolly Parton shaking stuff at stuff. She's written so many hit songs. It's insane. Insane, unbelievably talented. But in addition to that, is a multi-instrumentalist like you wouldn't believe. Plays everything. Guitar, fiddle, banjo, that auto harp thing that you play by putting on your knees. And doesn't just sort of strum along, know a few chords. Shreds on all of this stuff. So anything that Dolly Parton's performing at, I have an opportunity to go to, yes, is the answer. And the same should go for you. What else?
Gawker plans on appealing the verdict in the Hulk Hogan sex tape case that awarded him $115 million, brother.
You know, I think, so Bubba the Love Sponge, right?
Oh,
That's
going
who it
there,
was.
are we? Okay.
Well, no, it was his buddy.
Mr.
Hulk
Clem
Hogan,
in the news. There you go, Florida.
I guess him and the Hulkster are buddies.
Were. Former.
And he was like, hey, Hulk, you're having kind of a rough go of things. Why don't you cheer yourself up? Have sex with my wife. As one does. Hulk graciously accepted. Unbeknownst to him, he was recorded. And then the sort of tape wound up on the website Gawker.com. And so, Hulk Hogan rather famously, successfully sued Gawker for posting his sex tape to the tune of $115 million. Now, did he go after Bubba as well? Did he, why does it all fall to Gawker? And this seems to be what Gawker is asking. I mean, he won $115 million. I think Gawker is only worth $80 million as a company. So, yeah, there are some big question marks that have been raised by this ruling that he won $115 million from Gawker. So Gawker is apparently appealing the verdict in the Hulk Hogan sex tape case that awarded him the $115 million. By the way, this makes it the first time the words Hulk Hogan, sex tape, and appealing have been used in the same sentence. Go on.
Donnie Wahlberg issued a warning about Donald Trump.
Donnie Wahlberg from New Kids on the Block. Brother of Mark Wahlberg.
What's up, man? I'm Aaron Carter.
What's he doing here?
Yeah. Donnie Wahlberg, brother of Mark Wahlberg, issued a warning about Donald Trump. Well, here's the thing, Donnie. When it comes to the complex implications of the election of a leader of these United States of America, and indeed leader of the free world, and the geopolitical implications behind it, I reserve judgment until I hear from Frank Stallone. Go on.
I disavow, okay?
Okay. A new study says couples with caramel-colored walls, I said caramel-colored walls, have the most sex.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently, if you are not getting busy on a regular basis, if the bounce wow wow side of your relationship, assuming you have a relationship that you're shacked up with someone, your significant other, the color of your walls can decide how often you get busy. And a new study shows that couples with caramel-colored walls have the most sex, which now explains why your wife went into Lowe's the other day and asked the paint guy if they had a color called opposite of caramel.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
You can hit the news, Bed Funkhauser. We'll talk about how one restaurant is potentially changing the game with regard to world hunger in just a little bit. Super quick bulletin in our news break. Did you follow what happened in the Arizona primaries, Funkhauser? Did you see that?
Yeah, well, Trumpinator, right?
Trumpinator, yeah.
Trumpinator, and then, yeah.
In news that was surprising to no one. It was Trump and Hillary. But the very interesting part of the Arizona primary was the fact that on the GOP side and on the Republican side, it was a three-man race. It was a three-man race, yet Kasich still managed to come in fourth. This is how this happens.
What?
Well, basically, a lot of people cast a meaningless early vote for Rubio. Early voting in Arizona ended up really hurting Ted Cruz. An estimated 40,000 votes were cast for Rubio before Rubio dropped out of the race. And and because of that, Rubio, even though he's not running anymore, managed to top Kasich. So, yeah. In Arizona, there was an interesting political upset in that In a 3-person race, Kasich came 4th. These are the times we live in. This is our current political process. And we wonder why the rest of the world is looking at us going, we're all going to die, and it's going to be America's fault. Go on.
I lost my place here. A New Jersey mall Easter bunny. Did you see this video? Did you hear about this? He got into a brawl with a dad on Sunday.
Oh. Who?
Quite the video.
Who beats up the Easter bunny?
I think the Easter bunny started it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I heard that the dad got into it with the Easter bunny. I heard that the dad started to egg him on. And the Easter bunny was like, please leave me alone. And the guy wouldn't stop. He was harassing the guy in the bunny costume. And eventually he just got, wait for it.
No, don't do
hopping mad.
Good one.
A little more news.
An increasing number of people are losing their jobs to robots.
Yeah, and if you're curious to feel what it's like to be replaced by a robot, ask the dude who hosted Wheel of Fortune before Pat Sajak. How the hell is that guy still doing what he's doing? I saw that last night. I was like, people still watch this show. And it's crazy. I felt so bad for Pat Sajak because he said something political on Twitter like a year or so ago, and people jumped all over him. They're like, stay in your lane. You host Wheel, and that's all you do. And I know he makes untold millions of dollars for doing the same thing day in, day out. But, like, you do something like that for as long as old Pat has done it, it's gotta, at some point, just drive you freaking insane. It's crazy. Go on.
A new brassiere conceals a knife and pepper spray for protection.
Yeah, I saw that. We actually posted it on the old bloggy blog. Go and check it out. A new bra conceals a knife and pepper spray for protection. To which Bill Cosby responded, can't do anything when you're asleep. Go on.
Man, he's under the radar right now, isn't he?
Yeah. Has any, like, I know charges have been filed against him formally. Has anything stuck? Like,
I don't know.
Like, he did have to go to court a little while ago. It all seems to be going rather slow. I don't know. We'll wait and see how it all plays out. Go on.
Only 3% of Americans lead a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah. The rest of us are fun.
The rest of us eat meat. Go outside.
Oh. A healthy lifestyle includes a good diet, moderate exercise, and not being anything other than white at a Trump rally. Would you say that you live a healthy lifestyle, Funkhauser?
Well, I'm wearing pants today that I couldn't fit into a month ago. So, yeah. Yeah, that's very good. Very good, very good. Does constant stress and lack of eating count as a healthy lifestyle?
Well, I mean, also you're almost hold on, I got to sneeze.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I hate it when this. Thank you. Freaking allergies. You're almost cohabiting with Canadian Jane and eating a mostly vegan diet at the moment. So that's got to be good for you. That's got to be good for you. I mean, that's a very small number. 3% of Americans lead a healthy lifestyle. But they're easy to spot, though. You can tell these 3% of Americans that lead a healthy lifestyle right away, only because, well, you know who they are, because they won't shut the hell up about how amazing kale smoothies taste. Go on. They do not taste awesome.
They don't. Sorry.
No. Yeah.
Study found that blondes have higher IQs than other women.
Oh,
yeah.
Scientists determined this by watching blonde women ignore me. Go on.
Donald Trump recently claimed he's a, quote, true friend of Israel, unquote.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Donald Trump has gone on the record saying he's a true friend of Israel. And what's very interesting about this is being a friend of Israel has kind of become sort of like a conservative barometer. Are you a friend of Israel? Do you support them in their struggle against Palestine? And what's really interesting is in Houston, Texas, where I've spent a decent chunk of my life. I noticed talking to some of this sort of like cowboy, good old boy types around there. They weren't anti-Semitic, but they did. I'll never forget it. And I was so revolted by it. And it's proof that politics makes strange bedfellows. But I'm hanging out. Moved to Houston from New York City, which has a very large Jewish population. Not that racism and anti-Semitism doesn't exist there, but I'd never heard anything like this before. And someone said to me, "Oh, it's over there where all the stinky Jews live." I was like, "Oh my God, how did you just say that?" And ironically, now that same person that said that is one of the people beating their chest about how they're a true friend of Israel. Yeah, interesting times. Like I said, politics makes strange bedfellows.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The Dumbing Up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So yeah, Donald Trump recently claimed that he's a true friend of Israel. Like I said, that's sort of like the conservative barometer at the moment. Are you a friend of Israel? Then you fit in with the GOP. And, well, Donald Trump recently claimed that he's a true friend of Israel, partially because he firmly believes in the sanctity of a Jewish state, but mostly because, you know what else is interesting about Israel that Donald Trump likes, Funkhauser? No Mexicans. There you go.
Maybe a few.
Have you ever had, do what now?
Maybe a few, 0.01.
I don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. And you know, a lot of people think about this all the time, but the conflict between Israel and Palestine goes back so far. And there are so many atrocities. And it's just this humongous mess. It's this humongous mess over what? Over what? Like ownership of a piece of land which there is absolutely no scientific or geographical evidence to support is technically the Holy Land. I mean, this is a whole show. But it really actually blew my mind. It actually just, it's beyond reason. My Israeli friends that I grew up with, that I went to school with, some of whom escaped from Israel to be away from the violence, some of the coolest, most awesome, most down-to-earth people I've ever met. And all of them could kill you without even thinking about it with their thumb, because they've all had Israeli military training. All my Jewish friends from Israel have grown up in a situation where someone could end your life quickly and easily. And for that reason, they've all grown up knowing how to end someone else's life quickly and easily. When I was a DJ at bars and clubs in New York City, if ever an Israeli person got drunk and unruly and you wanted to kick them out of the bar, you did so in a very gracious manner. All my security friends would be like, when an Israeli person is at the point where they've had too much and they're causing trouble and they need to get out, it's, "Excuse me, sir, may I call you a cab?" No, we'll pick up the bill. Because they're all trained killing machines, because they've had to be to grow up in these situations. And that's like, it's absolutely freaking crazy and bananas to me that this is a situation that folks are forced to grow up in. Children who know nothing of the conflict, know nothing of the reason of the conflict when they're born, on both sides of the equation, Israel and Palestine. Children who are coming into this world with no knowledge of anything other than the fact that they live in an environment where it is most likely kill or be killed over a fabled piece of land that was allegedly walked on back in the day by a guy who said how great it would be to be nice to one another for a freaking change. It just boggles my mind. So unbelievably senseless. Funkhauser, have you ever had your name confused with anybody else's? There's probably not too many Funkhausers in this world.
Oh, there's another one.
Is it really?
Yeah, Dr. Funkhauser in Virginia. Hello.
Oh, okay.
How are you? Good.
What up, Dr. Funk? He's Dr. Funk.
No,
what is he a doctor of? Oh, she's Dr. Funk. Do you know what she? Do you know what she is a doctor of?
I don't know. Comma PhD is all I know. So good for them.
My last name's Roundtree, and my dad's name's Richard. So like Richard Roundtree, same guy that played Shaft. Although no one ever mistakes me for Shaft's son. But there's interesting things that can happen. Yeah, it's not a thing that happens on a regular basis. But there's interesting things that can happen when people confuse your name with someone else that has the same name as. I remember Henry Rollins once said, he was just like, and this is before he passed away, but he was like, I was at an airport and someone called James Brown was paged. It's like, James Brown, white courtesy phone, James Brown, white courtesy phone. He was like, I nearly broke my damn neck trying to find that one. He was like, will the Godfather of Soul please step to the white courtesy phone? Will Mr. Please, more. Papa's got a brand new bag. Head over and pick up an important phone call. Comedian Brian Regan talked about being mistaken for a different guy named Brian Regan who wrote 102 Dalmatians.
So I do this now. Became a stand-up. You know, there's another Brian Regan in show business. It's a true story. He's a screenwriter, and he's really good. He wrote 102 Dalmatians and How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days and all these other good movies. But I didn't know about him. I was out on the road, and these people said, you want to do a local TV interview? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. They say, we want to do it out in front of the movie theater. I'm like, okay. Yeah, we want to have the 102 Dalmatians logo behind us during the interview. Okay. Does that look good on camera or something? So we're sitting in the little wooden chairs, and he goes, so tell me about the movie 102 Dalmatians. You know, that's a lot of dogs jumping around. You know it's going to be fun. How will 102 Dalmatians be different from 101 Dalmatians?
One more.
I'm not a math expert. I'm going to guess 3 dogs.
I've come to the conclusion that Brian Regan might actually be a genius.
Yeah,
I know
he's one of my favorites.
Like,
I want to see him.
Yeah, he's been like a comedian's comedian for a really long time. He did, it was on Comedy Central, where he actually did a live stand-up special on Comedy Central, broadcast live. And like everyone, Patton Oswalt, comedians all over the world were saying this. I think I saw Patton Oswalt the night that his special, the live special, was airing, and he was like, it's really great that you're all here, but you should be at home watching Brian Regan. I've got it DVR'd. Nobody ruined anything for me. I'm going straight home and watching it. He has changed what it is possible to do in the world of comedy. And I love the fact that he's just, I don't know. I think he's a genius. I really do. I do. I also think that this might be kind of a genius idea. And let me preface all this by saying I'm not trying to come across as naive. Anytime there's any kind of big business, there's bound to be something that does not match up to the personal, moral, and ethical standards I set for myself. There's probably, anytime big business happens, some sort of morally reprehensible behavior where people go, morals, schmorals, principles, schminciples, almighty dollar. And so I'm not trying to say that the folks over at Starbucks are all good all the time, but this is an idea I really like. I'll never forget when the Pope first became Pope, as we talked about earlier, one of the first things that he said was like, don't waste food. It's a sin to waste food. I really started looking at my plate of food at the end of the night differently. I mean, at home, I never waste anything. But at restaurants, your eyes are bigger than your stomach. And when I first moved to America from England, I'll never forget, we all went to a diner, and we're all vegetarian. We all went to a diner and ordered something called a Veggie Burger Deluxe. And the mountain of food that showed up was just insane. A plate of food twice the size of your head. just ridiculous. And coming from England, we'd never seen anything like this. I'm not saying people don't overeat in England. I'm not saying people aren't fat in England. But to be served that amount of food in one sitting was just something that we'd never seen before. And it was crazy. And we went out to eat 2 or 3 other times at 2 or 3 other places, and we finally got to the point where we're like, I think the thing is, you're not actually meant to finish this. This is supposed to be like, hey, look what you're getting for your money. This is a lot of bang for your buck. This is opulence. This is overabundance. You are just fine. Look at the size of the plate of food that you were able to order. And look, there is something appealing about that. There is something appealing about a mountain of food showing up in front of you that makes you go, oh, joy. But world hunger is a real problem. And when the Pope said, don't waste food, it's a sin to waste food, that really resonated with me. And I have to admit, I started ordering at restaurants more sensibly. It's like that Seinfeld thing. You go into a restaurant, you're hungry, you're like, everything for everyone, appetizers. It will be the greatest meal of all time. And then the bill comes and you go, did we really order all this? Crazy. I'm not hungry now. Weird. And for that reason, because there is this thing of food shortage, not just in the world, but here in America. There's people in America, members of military families, who can't get enough nutritious food to feed themselves. It's crazy. I was part of a food drive. In San Diego. And it was a food drive for the military. I was like, what? Huh? What? You mean there's not enough food in the mess hall? And they're like, no, this is for military families. This is San Diego. It's really expensive to live in San Diego. So there's a lot of military families that cannot afford to put 3 nutritious meals on the table a day for their kids. And I was like, hold on. And they're like, yeah, it's kind of a dirty little secret. And I was like, did these people have a choice? Live in San Diego, not live in San Diego? They're like, no, this is where they had to be. And for that reason, cost of living is so high here, because it's freaking paradise. Cost of living is so high here that based on a military salary, a lot of people can't afford to feed their family properly. And it was just unthinkable to me that folks that were willing to die, to lay down their lives so that we may live ours, didn't have enough, had to go cap in hand, ask for assistance to feed their families. It's unreal. Absolutely unreal. And this food bank really helped me understand what military families are up against and what people are up against. Like I said, the idea that people willing to risk their lives so we can live ours, the idea that they can't put enough nutritious food on the table to feed their children, to me is criminally insane. And all this talk this election cycle of strengthening our military, but I've yet to hear one mention of giving them the strength that's afforded to a person by 3 square meals a day, or the moral fortitude given to a person when they know they can provide for their family. And for that reason, I really like this. Starbucks has been donating stuff like leftover muffins to food banks for the past 6 years. But for safety reasons, and look, when you ask a restaurant why they don't do this sort of thing, there's a litany of very sensible reasons as to why they don't. But they all would leave me scratching my head going, isn't there a way around it? Can't you do something with it? There's people starving and you're literally throwing out mountains of food every single day, especially if you're a big company like Starbucks, where you have God knows how many locations, all with an overabundance of sandwiches and muffins at the end of the day. There's mountains of food being thrown out. Yesterday, they announced that they figured out a way to make it happen. Within 5 years, they're going to be donating virtually all of their leftover food, working with a charity called Feeding America, and they'll have refrigerated vans pick up food from 7,600 Starbucks locations around the country each day. The plan is to have it up and running within a year and donate 5 million meals in the first 12 months. And to that I say, well done.